Hey everybody, it's your friend Sarmate here, and we're back with another episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you're having a fantastic and amazing day today. In our last episode, wow, we got a lot of good stuff done. We really needed to take the time and go through our stuff and make sure that we have the things happening that we need to have happen. We also discovered a very important issue with our tailor, and that is we have it set to be rough clothes, but we are instead producing backpacks. So there is a bug. I did submit a little report thing to the devs, so hopefully that gets resolved. But in the meantime, what I have been doing is going to visit Carlos here and Ronnie. I'm going to kind of go back and forth with their cats and whatever, and I'm purchasing rough clothes. You can also see here that I have some more domestic fuels on the way, just trying to get a little bit of stockpile of the domestic fuels and just trying to keep up with our rough clothing. Right now, we're about 465 rough clothes, so that we have some that has been reflected on our happiness, has been getting a little bit better there with the garments improved. So that's awesome. I'm really happy that we're getting to that point. We're kind of slowly rebuilding some of our industries that we had to dismantle, really, to have enough workers to run the things. So we're getting there. We do have immigrants nearly here, but I have been getting a lot of people. I'll show you this. You may have caught this at the beginning of the episode there. I pretty much gutted our farms over here and replaced them with plantations. The plantations have the extra 25% yield, which is what I'm going for. So that's what we've been kind of doing there in between episodes. When I have a farm like this, go ahead and turn that off. And then we are just going to apply a couple more people in there. And then I have been doing oats. And then I just noticed a comment that somebody wrote that said that peas are now 20 per grid. So I'm going to pause the game here quick. And that's updated. I'm fairly certain that it wasn't 20 per grid before. So thank you for that comment. That's going to be huge, because look at this. That the oat seeds output is 14 per grid versus 20 per grid. We're going to get 6 more units of food per grid. If you're not sure what the grid is referring to, you can hit G and you can see all these little squares that appear. Per these little squares, we're going to get that much more food if we go for peas. So you know what we got to do? We got to switch everything over to peas. That's not a whole lot of things anymore, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, all of our farms are now sporting peas, with the exception of a couple of the things we have around here. We got the chilies here that we are using for the veggies, and then we got the cactuses that we are using for cactus cuts, and a couple other things just right in here. So right now I have 2 4-person cactus workshops processing our cactuses every year. We still have a ton of them. These things are fantastic nowadays. Almost 3,000 cactus cuts so far this year, and it's only November. So we'll probably hit that. We'll hit the actual 3,000, not just rounding up. So that's awesome. I'm gonna love having the 4 people in here just crushing it, making tons of cactus cuts for us. As well as a little bit down the line here, we have medicinal powder. A little bit. I would like to kick this up a little bit once we get a little bit more traction going here. And then I have another one built up for fodder, and then probably another cactus cut eventually. Just kind of planning ahead with those. So over here, we don't have any of our plantations, but I would absolutely like to adjust these to plantations at some point here. Speaking of food, you guys mentioned that we should probably move away from raw food and start to get into the more processed food. Specifically, somebody mentioned salted fish, and I really like that idea. So that's something that I've kind of started to set up over here. We have our curing workshop, and then we have our salt works right here. Currently, we don't have a ton of salt. I'm putting in 3 more warehouses up here, and then hoping that these things are all going to work together and make some good salted fish for us. What we will be doing is banning fish once we get this curing workshop going, and that's going to allow us to process that fish into salted fish so we don't use up the base fish as just regular old food. So that's what we're going to be getting into here shortly. Looks like we are needing a little bit of iron ore. We have most of our, well, I think we have, okay, not all of our mines. Most of our mines are shut down. Here's one that's working right now, getting a little bit of iron ore. I think it looks like I just started this back up. So we'll be there in a little bit, but we are kind of behind on iron ore right now. And we have a little bit of a water thing going on. We probably need another reservoir. So we're going to go ahead and put one of these in here. I thought I put 2 more reservoirs in here, but they were sawmills. So let's go ahead and put this guy down right there. And we may as well put in a second one because we'll probably need it. And we'll put in a third because we're here. All right, excellent. We'll have those guys going here shortly. and getting a little bit more water coming in. Yeah, let's see what the difference is here. We're pretty close. So hey, even one more reservoir should be pretty good to make sure that we're getting enough water to be in the positive, which is going to be awesome once we get there. Quarry, I just started running again. We got 2 workers in there right now, just barely starting to get some more stones going here. Clothing, we mentioned that already. And then textiles, we have a ton of textiles because, again, we're making backpacks instead. Oh no. Our caravan met with a mishap en route. Oh, that sucks. We lost a bunch of things. Okay, so let's accept these immigrants. And let's just pause for a second again. I want to grab a couple technologies. So I was kind of studying this. We got 3 points now, so we can do a few things. I don't really want to start getting into a new industry again in this episode. We're still kind of rebuilding. So what I thought would be better, instead of just grabbing passives like we did in the last one, let's get the theater. So with the theater, we are going to need some costumes. And these are made at the advanced tailor. So I'm going to upgrade our regular tailor to the advanced tailor for a couple reasons. 1, for the costume, and 2, to see if that will fix the bug. And we also have agave now from getting Carlos to tier 2. And I'm wondering if we can make rough clothes from agave. So I want to check that stuff out here shortly. Under construction, I want to grab lighting, and I also want to grab construction techniques. Builders master improved techniques, construction actions, and demolition actions that are required are subtracted by 75%. That's pretty significant. I should have done that a long time ago. So we'll get that. Lighting, we need to get going as well. Okay, so with 31 laborers. With 31 laborers, let's go ahead and set up another caravan. We are probably going to go, let's see, that was to Carlos, so we lost our cats. We're going to have to buy some kittens. We're at 7,000 money right now, so let's get this set up. Yep, no cats in reserve, so we'll see how many we can purchase here. I'm also going to do... Ooh, 8's pretty good. I'm also going to do a bunch of selling, so we're going to go ahead and sell some coffee. We have been. Let's see where we're at with that. Only 260. That's unfortunate. Go ahead and sell that, though. We'll also fill in a little bit with timber, as I have been doing. Let's go... Let's see, 1,500 is going to be too much. All right, so here we go. We got our caravan set up. We got our coffee, got our timber, got our cats, and our rough clothes on the way. Can only afford a few rough clothes, 200, so we'll get that on the way, and hopefully these guys don't have a mishap as well. All right, so those are on the way. We're gonna go ahead and start the game back up, and let's get to our tailor here that we mentioned, and let's go for an upgrade. Because we aren't creating rough clothes, there isn't really gonna be a harm in upgrading this, except for the fact that I don't have any iron ore or planks, so we'll have to get that resolved. We'll come up over here, and we have this domestic fuel person. This was making planks for us before. I did turn it off because we were needing domestic fuel so badly, but we're going to go ahead and swap it to planks. We have a cap of 500, and I am going to put, let's put 2 workers on there. Well, 3 total. We're down to 25 laborers. Ooh, we're in the green with the water. Let's double check that down over here. So it looks like these didn't get created yet, so I'm going to pause the other 2 and just let the 1 be for now. We should have enough reserves for this stuff. Looks like it's good. Food's looking great. And let's get a couple more people back in the mines. That's going to be an important thing that we need to get going. And let's go with 2 more, and then we'll add that. And then let's go over here, and let's add in a couple of people over here. We'll probably do 4. Okay, so we'll get some coal going. We'll get some more iron on the way. And then we might as well... Well, we're doing pretty okay with stone. So we'll leave stone at 2. And then let's go over here, and I'll show you this is where we got our agave seeds started up. We're going to go ahead and get another one going over here. Let's see what the production was. 108. So with the agave seeds, what's that going to do, once we get our advanced tailor, we'll be able to make clothes. I mentioned that one. And then we'll also be able to make tequilas, and that's in a brewery. So I kind of did a little bit of looking, and I wasn't able to find the brewery. We have a winery, but I'm not seeing a brewery. So I'm wondering if that's just a mistranslation? I don't know. If the winery is supposed to be the brewery, or if they're one and the same, I'm not certain because I haven't got that point yet. So we'll do that. We'll definitely get some tequila going over here once we are able to do so. My priority is going to be seeing if those rough clothes work with the agave instead. And if that is the case, we'll probably build a bunch more nurseries up over in here and really get that production going. Try and get the clothes coming in. So what I'll probably do is I'll go around and I'll find our tailors, and whatever tailors are making rough clothes, I'll turn them off and I'll make them become agave people instead. So like this guy right here. Oh, this one's actually making rough clothes. Curious. So So we need to watch that. I wish I could flag this one. We're gonna go ahead and put another worker in there. If they are the ones making rough clothes, that would be huge. So I'm gonna, yeah, we'll leave it like that. And then I did want to upgrade this. We still need the planks, still need the iron ore. Let's go ahead and maybe put a couple more people into this iron mine, and we need to get this one completed. So we'll go ahead and we'll turn that on. So we are just kind of hanging out here. We're waiting for some things to get grown. We're waiting for some things to get gathered up so we can build some more buildings around here. And of course, waiting for our caravans to come back to continue to help us grow. So I'm just going to take some time. I'm going to keep looking around. I might add in a couple more things here and there, but if I do, I'll let you know. So I'll be back in just a moment. All right, it looks like our peas are coming off the field now. So I want to see if these things get harvested all the way or if we are going to be missing out. It looks like our warehouses that we have over here are quite full. So one thing I've been thinking about is maybe we need to get better storage things, because you can see we're going to lose a ton of these peas. So all these are going to not make it. Let's check over here what these look like. These are coming along. They're dying out. So yeah, oh, I don't even have storage over here. Well, duh. So we have to get that working out. So let's do that right now. So I have one more tech point. I would like to get to storage boost, but this thing is very expensive and awesome. But let's just go ahead and we'll work toward it. We'll go ahead and grab durable storage yard. I'm not certain if the durable storage yard is better than the warehouse as far as size capacity. So we can check that out here. Let's go ahead and do a durable storage yard over here. I wonder if I can upgrade this one. Only 200 cut stone. Okay, so yeah, we are absolutely going to upgrade that one. But in the meantime, let's come over here and we'll do a durable storage yard over here. And this will be great because it'll be a bunch of a shared space for all these things here. We do have our transfer station over here as well. It's getting pretty full. So we need a little side thing here that we can transfer things out and then grab some more stuff and continue that. I also went through and I replaced our mill workers. So we are now milling some oats that we have in reserve for flour, of course. And then later we will go back into making some bread. So the bread was, again, a little bit more filling than just the raw foods. So we are going to be working on that as well. And I also wanted to get going on our lighting. Oh, I can search now. I love it. So we're going to go ahead and do lighting factory. We're going to go ahead and get that going. So this thing is going to use a lot of fats. So let's put it by our critters over here. So we do have our butcher over here, and we learned that processing the meat at the butcher here doesn't really do much but make it into meat chops, which is fine if we had enough of our curing workshops, which we got one coming in right here that we're going to use for fish. But for now, we're just going to work on fish. Later, we can do some salted meats for sure. And then later we can do some canning as well. So we'll do both those things for sure. Let's go ahead and wait just a little bit more for our curing workshop, and we'll get that set up. I did put a second worker in our salt works, try and make a little bit more salt coming in. We have a huge cap on salt. I did ban fish, and I increased both fishing docks here to have 4 people. To have a little bit of reserve of fish stored up is kind of what my hope was. Ooh, we got a little spot right there where we could tuck a little durable storage yard. Look at this. And put a little one in there. Okay, and then our curing workshop is good to go. And then let's say salted fish. You can take fish and salt, make salted fish. Let's check out the stats here. Salted fish is hunger 20, happiness 40, versus regular old fish, hunger 8, happiness 20. Significantly better hunger on a salted fish. Yeah, good call on that. So we're going to go ahead and get these things up and running here. We may need to get some more salt workshops going here. Looks like we got a reservoir built. Excellent. Let's take a quick peek at that water, and it looks like we're doing great with water. So I am going to leave this reservoir open because we don't quite need it yet, apparently. So we're just going to leave it built, and then when we need it, we'll have it. This sawmill, we're going to go ahead and get going with some domestic fuels. Going to put a third person in there. Still have 18 laborers. I'm pretty happy about that situation. I did put a couple in the reed field. Starting to start up these industries again. We're making rope over here with some flax, and then we're making shoes with the reeds. I was looking at our happiness here. You can see shoes is the second line item. We want to have that apparently, so we're going to get some shoes going, and that's going to help our happiness out a little bit. I'd like to get into the green, tier 2, like we have with our health, but we will need to get our theaters going as well. Speaking of the theaters, let's see if we can finagle this. Trying to get them fitting into our current layout might prove a little difficult. We have not been planning for theaters, so we're gonna kind of lose out on some of the space, I think, with them. If we'll go right here, let's try and find a better spot. I lose like half of the houses if I put that one here. We'll get our theater started. So we know that we need to have costumes for this thing, and that's with the advanced tailor. So can we upgrade this thing yet? Yes, we can. Let's go ahead and do that. Planks, iron, and stone. Boom. Okay, great. That'll get upgraded here shortly, and then we can check that out. Coming back over here, our lighting factory looks like it's good to go. We have our lamp oil and lanterns. We need lamp oil and glass bottles to make lanterns. We don't have either of these things right now. We'll go ahead and get lamp oil started. Take fats, beeswax, or blubber, and we'll make lamp oil with that. We're gonna go ahead and get that started now. Domestic fuels, still an issue with us. So, but even with 3 water sawmills going full bore over here, we're still not quite making it. We may need to add in yet another sawmill. I think I got one over here. Yeah, let's put in another worker here. We have the timber, luckily, to be doing all this. So I'm glad that we have that figured out. And we will continue to process that into more domestic fuels until we can get ahead with that. I feel like we're fighting that big time. Researchers in the town found that a bug brought by immigrants mainly fed on weeds in the fields, which can increase the yield of crops. They wanted to make use of the bug to boost the field yield, but they knew little about the species. Provide an experimental site for research, introduce more books. We'll provide the site and get that tech point. We are going to go up over in here, and then we can grab our cellar if we want. Let's just check out what this thing requires. Same function as a warehouse, but citizens can walk across the structure unremovable. So that's a permanent thing. So maybe we just hold up for that. We'll have the durable storage. We'll wait for the storage boost. So for now, maybe we'll just wait for techs, and we'll just hold on to those points until we find something else that we are ready for. Let's go ahead and check this out. This is good to go. We've produced, wow, 444 so far this year. That's awesome. That's really, really great. How much fish do we have left? Not much. Let's go ahead and put 4 more people in a fish dock. Get that happening. Speaking of the fish dock, we could work toward fishing. Now, this thing is going to require steel, which is something that I've been considering getting into. But again, I didn't want to start a whole new industry. But I think we could, yeah, we can handle fish pond. So we have 2 points. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll use our fishing nets and let's get fish pond. And now that we know that this thing is super powerful, 480 fish per year, let's get a fish pond going here. It shouldn't be too bad. Get fish pond. And now we will just have to find a good spot for this thing. Plenty of room over here. We do have our couple of pastures, but that's okay. We'll do the 2 there like so, and then of course we have to bring our road out. We are going to have to throw a transfer station in here as well, so while we're at it, let's go ahead and do that. Transfer station, and let's plop this guy about right there. So that should grab both of these fish ponds, only requiring some cut stone, some sand, and some brick, which we should have. The cut stone might be an issue because we haven't been running our masonry workshop for when we cut back for laborers, and so let's go ahead and get somebody working in there. So now we're down to 10 laborers. I'm gonna cool it with settling up things, and I'm just gonna see where we end up. We're looking much more better in pretty much every category, well, except for the clothing, of course, but we're still working on that. So our advanced tailor is still getting built up. We need 30 more iron, which we should have shortly. I've put a bunch of people into the mines over here. We got 10 people working in our iron mine. We're just trying to get that stuff happening. So I'm going to cut again, and when we come back, we'll check out our advanced tailor and see what we can do. Hopefully we can make some rough clothing with it, but we'll see. Be right back. Advanced tailor is good to go. We have Oswald working right now. We just have to choose a process. So rough clothing, which I should have thought about, of course. It just adds another line item here for the agave to be processed into rough clothing. So it isn't in itself going to fix it. So we may have to see if the advanced tailor maybe is going to be good enough to fix that bug of the rough clothing. We'll have to also check on our other tailor just to see. But before that, I did want to upgrade this to make some costumes for our theater. So we only need 15. So for now, let's go ahead and do 30. And once that cap is reached, then we will cut the tailor off and we'll do something different with it. Let's check this one out instead. This one looks like it's still making rough clothes. So awesome. I don't know why this one's working and the other ones weren't. Kind of a weird deal. But we got it going. So we are making some rough clothing. Let's do a quick check on that. Yeah, not enough though. So let's try something. I'm gonna grab another tailor, and I'm gonna put a tailor up here, I think. And let's go. I want to be close to these nurseries, so let's go right here. I was thinking that maybe we could go back to back, but it looks like they cross over, so that's not gonna work. But we'll go over here. We'll be able to process those agave things into clothing. So that'll be awesome once we can get that happening over there. And then we come over here, and this thing is absolutely crushing it. 752. Really happy about the carrying workstation. It made me want to make another one. So down over here, we did put in a salt works, an additional one. We're going to go ahead and get that going. And we're still at 10 laborers. So we have this nice balance going right now to where we are assigning people, and then we're getting people graduating. So not a lot of deaths happening. That's awesome, but it makes me nervous for a death wave. What that means is, of course, if you get a bunch of people that are coming of age at the same time, they typically die about the same time. And then, of course, you lose a bunch of workers. So we're going to try and avoid that, but it might be tricky to do so. Over here on this side of the world, we have our fish ponds happy. Let's go ahead and get these guys going. Going to go ahead and increase that as well. 2 people working in there, get some fish going. And then this one just needs a couple more cut stone, and that'll be on the way as well. But look at this. So our farms, of course, we had peas, 1,300 peas, looking awesome over here. And then if we check over here on our plantations, these are buffed by the compost plants. 1,249 on that guy, and 800 on that one, 1,100. So these are doing pretty great. We are doing really well on food right now. I'm kind of considering cutting back a little bit on some food production, just because that's, I mean, 50,000 is a lot of food and sitting around. I did take these 4 workers off this field and instead put them into making bread for us. So along the same lines of some more processed food and making the hunger better and the happiness better. So we're working towards that as well. I did just see for a little bit here that we had happiness tier 2 for a little bit. Looks like we lost our shoes. So we may need another knitting workshop or another worker in there to create some more straw shoes for us. We have a good amount of raids, so that's awesome. So that might be something we also add in another building for. So let's go ahead and we'll do that quick. We'll get this guy on the way. So I have a couple other warehouses that have popped up. I'm noticing that I have forgetting them a little bit, so I want to go back and fill them in. Like over here, we have nothing. So we're going to go ahead and get a warehouse in over there. And then, of course, our transportation that we just clicked over here, that will get going as well. So we'll have all that stuff going. And then finally, over here, we'll get our nursery set up. And we have our recipes to choose from. Let's deselect everything except for agave. And then that'll get built up specifically with agave. And then let's see if this bug happens again. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of guessing with it. I really have no idea what triggered that bug. But it seems to be not as big of an issue for us right now because this one tailor is working out. So kind of weird. But anyways, we got it going all right. We have costumes on the way. We got 35 created. That's good. That means that this guy will be here shortly, and we'll have to put in a couple other theaters in time here. We'll have to probably do a little bit of rearranging of some things to get them to fit okay, but we can do that later. That's going to be it for this episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a fantastic and amazing rest of your evening, day, or night, and I'll talk to you again soon.